What's up guys, welcome back. It's the first time to my channel, then welcome. Today we are going to be doing yet another episode, I guess you can call it, in my Overhyped or Worth the Hype series. So if you're not familiar with the series, basically what it's all about is I talk about very popular or very hyped up makeup and I let you guys know whether or not I believe it is worth the hype or overhyped. So today I decided to change it up a bit. Instead of talking about very new hyped up products that are like newly hyped, I really wanted to bring it back old school and get a little nostalgic with you guys and talk about products that used to be hyped up like to the max a really long time ago, but have sort of like faded off since they've been hyped up. And I wanted to bring them back and let you guys know whether or not I still believe that they are worth the hype, or maybe my mind has changed. Please let me know down below your thoughts on all the products that I'm mentioning today. Without further ado, let's get into it. First, let's talk about the NYX Butter Glosses. Now, these were so intensely hyped up years and years and years ago. Everybody was talking about them, and everybody was talking them so much to the point where I felt like I needed literally every single shade in order to just like satisfy my makeup craving. And at that time, NYX wasn't actually available in Canada, which was so unfortunate. So it was literally impossible for me to even get these. And I remember just being so desperate to have these that I actually went on eBay and probably paid like quadruple the actual price in order to actually get them to me. And yeah, the hype was definitely very, very real. Now, I definitely do not regret it because the NYX Butter Glosses still remain as one of my favorite lip glosses like ever. They are not only some of the best drugstore lip glosses, but just in general, it really just all comes down to the texture of this lip gloss. I mean, it is called the Butter Gloss for a reason. If you do not like sticky lip glosses, these are totally for you because they really do feel very like buttery on the lips. There's absolutely no like tack to them, so they're just super comfortable to wear. All the shades are also really nice and wearable. They're very nice and opaque, but also not too opaque, so you can wear them by themselves or also layered on top of another lipstick. And they also smell amazing. Like, they smell like vanilla cake, which is so delicious. And if you're wondering, my all-time favorite shade is the shade Creme Brulee. This was the one that I had to get my hands on. So overall, I think that these were actually totally worth the hype. I wish I used them more today because I sort of forgot about them. I've just been reminded. Oh my god, now I'm just remembering that like back in the day, I just used to order so much of my makeup off of eBay and pay such a premium to get it to Canada before all of these like brands were actually available here. The Loreal Pro Palette is another makeup item that I did that with. I don't even want to know how much I actually ended up paying for this because it was probably insane. So this is the original Loreal Pro Palette. At the time that this was released, literally everybody was talking about it. And this is actually one of my most used palettes, one of the only palettes that I've actually hit pan on. It is very rare for me to hit pan on any eyeshadow just because I do try so much makeup and I don't really typically just stay within one palette. I always like to jump around, so because of that, I don't usually really hit pan on eyeshadows. So if that tells you anything, I really truly enjoy this palette. So let's talk about the palette. So there are 2 rows of eyeshadows. The top row has 8 shades and they're all matte, and then the bottom row has of course another 8 shades, and these are all more metallic. This palette really does have so many basics that you need to create an eye look. You've got your matte cream, a matte taupe, you've got some beautiful deep browns, a black, you have great metallic lid shades like a garnet, a deep purple, gold, nude champagne. You really do have like sort of everything that you need to create anything from a very like just simple everyday look to something a little bit smokier. They are really easy to work with, very easy to blend. They're also very pigmented but very powdery as well. It's something that you need to keep in mind. So that means that you want to go in with a very small amount of product. If you go in with too much, you're going to get like almost too much pigment. So you always want to make sure that you tap off your brush when you use this palette. I definitely still stand behind it, still recommend it. It's also such a great size. It holds so many eyeshadows and it's nice and small and sleek. So the next product that I want to talk about is a concealer that was, or maybe even still is, just as hyped up as something like the Tarte Shape Tape. So this is the NARS Radiant Creamy Concealer. My opinion on this concealer has actually changed pretty dramatically since I bought it years and years ago. Even though I kept on using it and rebuying it, the more that I used it, the more issues I had with it, and the more concealers that I tried, the more I stopped using this one. It's a super creamy concealer. It gives a really nice amount of coverage. However, I feel like this concealer is slightly finicky because the consistency of the concealer is slightly thicker, I find it fairly difficult to blend out and to actually look seamless when I'm blending it into my skin. Like sometimes I find that when I blend this stuff out that it almost looks a little bit patchy around the edges of the concealer and it doesn't like fully blend into my foundation. And I also find that this just looks a little bit cakey underneath my eyes, and I have so many other concealers that I have in my collection that I use all the time that just work so well. Like the Bare Minerals Bare Skin Serum, which is what I'm wearing underneath my eyes today, is like one of my all-time favorites, and it's sort of like the complete opposite of that. It blends so easily. It doesn't look cakey whatsoever. And because this is also from NARS, it's of course a little bit pricier, and because of that, I just don't really feel like it's totally worth the hype. I think there are other concealers that work better than this. I even think the NARS Potted Concealer, I think it's called like the Soft Matte Concealer, that one is just, oh my god, absolutely stunning. I use that one all the time, and I think it's far superior to this one, honestly. So that's my opinion. It's probably not the most popular opinion because I know that a lot of people really like this, but for me personally, I don't think it's worth the hype because I think there are other concealers out there that just perform a lot better, and this one is just too finicky for my preferences. So there you go. So next, let's talk about the Benefit What's Up highlighter. Now, I think this was really hyped up at one point because Makeup by Mario, who is like the Kardashians' makeup artist, and he also does makeup for a bunch of other really beautiful celebrities, mentioned that he uses this highlighter as the highlighter for Kim. I think at that point people went really, really crazy over this stuff and everybody was talking about it. And I feel like since then it's sort of like died down a little bit. Not a lot of people talk about this product anymore, and it really makes me sad because this is probably one of my favorite cream highlighters. I even was so upset with myself because when I did a video all about my favorite cream and liquid highlighters, pretty sure I forgot to mention this, which is so dumb because I actually use this so often. So this is obviously a cream highlighter. If you couldn't tell already, this is what it looks like. It comes in this little stick and it's a really beautiful soft champagne shade. And the reason why I love this highlighter so much is because it really gives the skin quite an intense glow, honestly, but it's definitely not like unflattering or too intense or shimmery or sparkly or metallic. And the shade itself is also pretty universal. It will look really, really beautiful in a wide variety of skin tones. And it's also super easy to use and to blend out. It's not finicky at all, and it's just sort of a no-fail product. I definitely think this is worth the hype, and I think it even deserves to be re-hyped up. Okay, so next let's talk about a really stupidly overpriced lip balm, shall we? This is the Dior Creme de Rose Smoothing Plumping Lip Balm. Why did I buy this? So that I don't feel so alone, comment down below if you were also sucked in to buying this Dior lip balm. Please, just help a girl out here because I feel really silly for buying this lip balm. So at one point, a lot of YouTubers at once were sort of talking about this lip balm. Obviously, I mean, I bought it and I don't really see any difference between this and like my Nivea lip balm. I'm gonna be real honest. Now this is called the Smoothing Plumping Lip Balm, and I don't find that it plumps my lips in the slightest. I don't find that it really smooths them. It's a nice lip balm. It does a good job and it smells really nice, honestly. Smells like soft roses, but in the end, it's also just a lip balm. I don't think it's worth the money. I don't think it's worth the hype, and please let me know down below if you also pick this up. Next, let's talk about MAC powder. This is the mineralized skin finish. Now, I used to use this years and years and years ago, but I went a really big chunk of time without using this powder, and as you can see, this is in the new powder packaging from MAC, so I did pick this up, not recently, but definitely within the last like year or two, and I question myself what took me so long to actually get back onto the MAC mineralized skin finish train. If you want to set your makeup but you do not want to look powdery, especially if you have dry skin and you don't want to have like a super dry powder sitting on top of your face, this is a really great powder to use. Very finely milled. It's not like a super heavy powder that's going to give you a ton of coverage. This is really the type of powder that will set your makeup and then just be completely undetectable on the face. I love this to set underneath my eyes and to set my whole entire face as well. I just think overall it's a really great product. I still think that these are totally worth the hype. It's definitely an OG powder product, and it shouldn't go unnoticed. It's a really great one. So there you go. So next, let's talk about another eyeshadow palette. This is the Chocolate Bar from Too Faced. Now, when all of the neutral palettes first started to come out on the market, the Chocolate Bar palette was definitely one that a lot of people were talking about. So to just break this down very simply, I don't have any issues with blending them or pigmentation or anything like that. And it's a palette that I still think is a really nice neutral palette. However, whenever I pull out this palette wanting to use it, because of the color selection in here, I always find it difficult not to do the same look over and over and over again. There are definitely other neutral palettes that have a bit more of like an exciting variety of shades and that I can do like a lot of different looks with, whereas with this palette I feel sort of stuck whenever I go in to use it. So that's why I don't really feel like the chocolate bar is totally worth the hype. However, I still think that it is a nice palette. Last but not least, let's talk about Becca highlighters. This is a product that I'm actually surprised I didn't talk about in my previous two worth the hype or overhyped videos, because this is probably one of the most hyped up highlighters. But Becca highlighters, man, are like some of the best, and every single time I stop using them and go back to them, I wonder why I ever stopped. What I really like about Becca highlighters is that you can either get something really nice and subtle with them by just applying a very small amount, or you can really build them up. If you want something that will pop and that will be really intense, you can definitely get that with these as well. But what's really nice about the Becca highlighters is that they will always look flattering on the skin, and that is something that I always look for when it comes to a highlighter. And the actual texture is just so beyond like anything else. They're so buttery and just smooth, and they're easy to blend on the face, and they just sit well on the face. I'm just gonna put some on the back of my hand just so you guys can see. All of the highlighters really do have like this type of just reflective glossy glow. And I also not only love using these on my cheekbones, but I also like using them as eyeshadows, inner corner highlighters. Oh my god, they're so beautiful. If you just want like a super bright eye type of look, just take your finger, swipe it all over your lid, put on some mascara, and you're gonna be good to go. So those are the Becca highlighters, and I mean, if you couldn't tell already, definitely think that they were worth the hype. So guys, that actually finishes off today's video. I really hope that you enjoyed it and found it entertaining and helpful. Please let me know all of your thoughts down below. Let me know your thoughts on the products that I spoke about today, and also give me some of your opinions on some older hyped out makeup. I would love to hear your thoughts, and give me suggestions for future videos, of course. Give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.